Hello, listeners. Welcome to the dream stream of consciousness. I am Yiskah Koock.
And I am Ellen Ronis.
So, we're here to do dream work. And let's start with you, Ellen. It seems like you might have something interesting.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I'll try to speak of it in the present tense, which
Yes,
always challenges me.
yes.
Uh, I am attending a large public gathering in New York City, somewhere downtown. It felt like possibly in the aftermath of 9/11. Lots of rubble.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm saying we, I don't know who the we is, we're on the outside of a chain link fence encircling the event. A rabbi or religious Jewish man comes up to us and says to me, "Come in for a lie down next to the gravestones of those who've died in the battle, the war, the attack." I don't really, didn't quite grasp whether it was what it was happening. And inside the chain link fence, there were these like gravestones that were just on the ground, not the kind that stand up with like a plaque.
Mhm.
And they were like in rows, like you see in I don't know, like battle, whatever. Anyway, just like a little graveyard within that chain link fence. And he's asking us to go in and like lie down next to the gravestones. Um, and so I go in and I lie down next to a gravestone with others doing the same, and I cried and cried and cried and cried, wanting to. I wanted to relate to the man next to me who was doing the same thing, but he was kind of engaged in his own, deep emotional process. He then gets up and walks a little bit away and then lies down the opposite way. And it felt like he was creating a cross. Like we're all lying, say, horizontally parallel to one another. And then he goes and lies down the opposite way. So it just felt like he was making a cross, like he was making a statement with that. And then at some point, before or after, I didn't quite get a sense of that. There was a woman showing me around this great, big, enormous, like industrial style apartment building, as if she's trying to sell it to me or rent it to me. And it didn't feel like I was looking to rent or buy, but somehow here I am. And it was really decrepit, really like so old and falling apart. But it was really nicely decorated. So it was like the bones of it were like a mess, but somebody had done all these nice furnishings around it.
Hmm.
Um, and then the top floor of the window was like if you look outside the window of this big giant warehouse, you could see neon lights on the outside. So it had been like um like a department store or something, like with the big neon light that advertises the department store. So yeah. That's that, and that's the end of it.
Wow.
I
Well,
know.
what will you title this dream?
um Aftermath. The aftermath.
Wow. Wow, twice. Wow, squared. All right. How did you feel when you woke up from this dream?
um to be honest, I can't remember. Yeah, I can't really remember how I felt, but it definitely felt meaningful. And I know that I was relating it to what is happening in the Middle East. I
Mm.
was sort of feeling the connection. So, probably all the things that I feel about that, which is, you know,
Do, do you remember how you felt in the dream? Your feelings, you're not remembering the feeling upon waking, but like when lying next to the graves, how do I feel? If I'm the dreamer, how do I feel? You were mourning.
yeah,
So,
it was grievous. It was
yes.
terrifying. Like whatever had happened felt so
Yes.
unbelievable, like
Oh,
unbearable, like whatever it was. Like
oh
it did
my.
feel like how I felt when 9/11 had happened. Like this just incredulity. Like I don't even know how to, this
Yes.
is unbelievable that this happened. And so I
Oh,
had that feeling. And then there's the aftermath, which is like, the rubble and everything. And then there's somebody had built this chain link fence around, and then it's almost like the graveyard of those who've died. So yeah, lots of grief, I would say. And also there was a sense of honor. Like, I don't know if honor is the right word, a sense of um I felt honored to be asked
yeah.
to do this.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I felt honored, yeah, to be asked to
So
do
do you
that.
mind if I skip around in this
Sure,
dream?
go ahead.
It rang so many bells for me that I want to get to them before I forget them.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, are you having any are you having any aches in your frame? Anything up with you physically?
Any what? I'm sorry.
Is anything up with you physically? Are you having any
Oh,
aches in your frame? Are you,
yeah, that's such an interesting question, and I don't understand how it's connected, but I will say yes, I actually have. I actually have been having some discomfort in my bones, in my joints.
yeah.
Yep, I have actually some pretty notable things in my knees and neck. And
Have you gotten to the like crux of the problem? Did you see anybody about it?
I'm planning on doing that. I'm going to physical therapy next
Oh,
week,
perfect.
and trying to set up a chiropractic appointment to see if I can get some reflection on what is happening. What's going on.
That's so the reason I ask this, and Ellen probably has more of a feeling, but for our listeners who are learning about dream work, often when we dream of a building or a house, it's actually symbolic of our physical self. So when we dream about a house and something's happening in the attic, it might be our higher self. Something's happening in the basement, it might be our unconscious self. And so in this case, the structure of the building is sort of decrepit. It needs something, but the design within it, like, oh, I can put on a good show. I don't have to complain. I'm fine. I'm fine. I can put on a good show, fool everyone, even myself.
Well, Yiskah, that feels so relevant. Thank you. That feels so relevant to things that I'm dealing with in my own psyche, my own heart and mind,
Mm,
and life, in the way that I can make things very beautiful. But it's like, at what cost do I create this? Um, I don't want to say ivory tower, but like, I've created a really beautiful space, my
yes,
home,
yes,
and I stay in it a lot. It's like isolating in a way.
yeah,
So, you know, I'm working on creating more friendships and more, things outside of my home. But there has been a way in which it looks to those who are outside of myself that I got it together and I
yeah.
have a beautiful home and everything's cool. But it's like, at what cost am I?
I dress well. Like I put like meaning I put
Yes.
on a good show.
Yes, and it's like I'm not adverse whatsoever to sharing with people how, if I don't feel well in my
Yes,
heart. I'm I'm very open and honest about things like that, but at the same time I can see how, in a way, my isolation keeps me from like deeper intimacy, keeps me from
mm,
love, that kind of thing, partnership and love. And it's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay over here by myself. I've
yeah,
got a lovely home and everything's comfortable, and
yeah,
and that's nice.
yes. And that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, it's not, maybe it's um, indicated in the dream, but I don't see where. But it's really about leaving the comfort zone. It's really about, I think, our growth is, well, I don't know if one has to do that, but it's a question. Do I stay in my cozy bubble or do I go out and connect with my friends? And in a way, I'm in a similar place. Um, it often goes back to this, but and many of our listeners know I have multiple sclerosis, And sometimes I don't feel like dealing with emotion. It's easier just to sit here in my chair, and I don't want to go out of my comfort zone. My literally.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's normative on some level, and especially in the wintertime, you're
Yes, that's true.
supposed to just be in, and that's cool. And I think it's just more the bigger picture of our lives, maybe not the immediacy of right now, but just the bigger picture of what am I doing? What am I creating here? Am I creating a place where I can just escape when things get uncomfortable out there, and that is kind of how I feel.
Yeah, well, it's good to have a sanctuary.
Yeah,
You
yes.
one should feel good when they come home.
Agreed. Agreed. Yes, agreed. And I think that's I've been wanting that. I've been wanting to create like just
Yes.
beautiful and nice and comfortable where I can just feel like dropping down because it's hard for me to drop in and drop down. Really, it's even in my own home, it's hard for me
Say more. What do you mean by that? Drop in and drop down.
to settle. I would say settle. I always have this feeling of being very unsettled, even in my own home.
Okay.
I keep working on making my place more and more comfortable so that I can take a breath and really settle in myself and not be like nervous system overload, which is happens a lot for me.
You
Um,
might, you probably know more about this than I do, but um, it seems like maybe a breathing meditation, or didn't you do TM? What did you do?
I'll say I do. I did. I'm in and out of TM. Yes, I have. I
Yeah, so
have.
maybe look to TM right now to ground you, or not. Maybe I would if I were the dreamer and I had that experience with TM. There was something that drew me to that practice, and if I'm feeling not settled, perhaps I want to do that right now.
I just also want to go back to ask me how I felt in the dream, and when
Yes.
I wrote here, I cried and cried, and I remember that, like lying down next to the gravestone, crying and crying, like so, it felt like this really good emotional release in a way,
Yes.
um, and it's like something maybe that I haven't been able to do in waking life, you know, for that. I can cry about my own personal stuff, but like the world stuff sometimes I just I'm like I can't deal with it, but I need to deal with it, and my heart obviously needed to deal with it, and it
Yes.
feels that was happening. So, just that deep grief, I guess, is what I would also say was happening in the dream. So it isn't and it could yeah. These two dreams felt like they were part of the same moment.
Two dreams.
Could very well be two separate things. The one about the building and being shown around this old.
Oh, oh, okay. No, all right. I was hearing it as one, dream, how dreams are. They're like non-sequential and non
Yeah.
sequitur. But
Yes.
yes, well, I was just thinking this feels very collective, though for you it might be specific, and it feels like because maybe it was 9/11 and we're Jewish, and it might, in my mind, it flashed to, the 8th. I don't even remember the date, and I think that's good. But when the terrorists came into Israel and killed and raped and kidnapped so
October 7th.
many, what was it? Say it again. Mhm. So, but beyond that, that might be for you. But beyond that, it feels very much like a collective dream. It's almost like all of the sorrows in
Mm,
in the world
mm,
are being mourned for right now. It fit to me. It doesn't feel like just my sadness or my
yeah.
like cultural sadness. It feels like a bigger grief
Yeah.
that's
I
happening in
think
our world.
there's something definitely to that, that it felt like 9/11 or something, however I would
Yeah.
that feeling of there was a war, there was an explosion, there was rubble, from falling.
Hmm.
So then there was this, cordoning off of that, and an honoring of what happened there. And also, I'm remembering that the connection of this guy who was next to me doing the
Yes,
same thing. And I just kind of remember feeling like, mm, there was something very heartful, very like soft in my heart. I don't know how else to describe that, about this man next to me who I didn't know, also lying next to a grave stone, who of somebody who he didn't know. Like, we didn't know who these
yeah,
people, but we were just both having our own. And I wanted to connect with him. And I don't know if I, and he was just so in his own grief that I really was respecting that.
yes,
And I don't know, something about that seems important. And I think
yes,
maybe I feel about that. Um,
it
um,
does. Well, to me, again, if this is my dream, I'm feeling like this is showing me that no, this is an individual experience. That I need to go through this deep grief. I, you know, this is not a time to extend myself. I always say this horizontally. This is a time to be vertical, and that's my
mhm.
projection.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he's the sorry,
That makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. So he's the guy that then lies the other way. And and then to me, and again, I know I have rose colored glasses, whatever. I'm fond of it because the Talmud says, a dream follows its interpretation. So in my projection of this dream, him lying the other way and making a cross is showing me beyond that it's a collective dream. This is a dream for everybody. So I might be feeling
Makes you
one
think.
way,
Yeah.
and
How.
and I might be grieving loss, you know, in Israel, and then there's also so much loss in the Christian world, and that just to me makes it more for the collective.
Okay.
How was it for you?
It felt symbolic. There was something very symbolic about it.
Mm,
Like, I don't know, just yeah. Let's see. It almost feels like he's a reflection of some part of myself,
sure.
right? Who needed to just be in my own experience and not relate to another person in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something that I do, which is I like reach out to people when I'm in a very deep, sad place. Instead of
Mm,
my own inner feelings to come through, I want to reach out to somebody to be
yes.
either witnessed or for help or support. None of those things are wrong, but just to say that that's
Right.
a bit, and I'm I have been staying more in myself, when I'm having things to see like what transpires and what gets transformed in that experience.
Yes.
Um, rather than putting it out there. And so I appreciated that he was doing that. And, if he is a reflection of,
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that I'm doing that more. Um, and, and in a way, it does feel more masculine, right? Masculine energy doesn't necessarily, they're more focused, in the world, kind of
Yes.
focus rather than internal
Right.
focus. Maybe that's true. I'm not sure, but that seems to be.
Well,
So
those
anyway,
are physical organs.
yes, right, the physical
The
organs.
man and then the woman.
Um, and so something about him getting up, if that's a part of me, like I get up and I kind of do the different thing. I do the thing that like that doesn't feel like what everybody else is doing, but it feels like it's very true to what I need to do for myself. I need
Yes.
to lay this way. I'm not really sure why, but I see the image looking, of that person lying that other way and everybody else lying this way, and it almost feels like the I Ching or something.
Oh,
Like I
I like that.
think like the little, people lying sort of like
Oh, I feel that now. So,
in
yes, just the visual of it.
visual, yes, and it feels
Yeah, that's interesting. And I wonder what, a bar across another bar might mean in the I Ching.
Interesting to look at that for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Actually, I didn't think about that until just now, but it
Yeah.
definitely that I kind of felt even in the dream that it looked like a symbol. It looked like
Yes.
stepping into something that's creating something like a different, like a message or something.
Yeah, I like that so much. Do you have I Ching, yeah?
I don't.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
okay.
I used to have a book, like something about the I Ching, but I don't.
Okay. No, I don't have it either.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so is there anything you'd like to know from the stream?
I guess I'm also curious about like what was I doing in this house? Like what or this like warehouse? Like what was I looking, what was I looking for
Oh,
there?
yes.
Why
Right.
was since it didn't seem like I was really looking for, an apartment or whatever. Like what was, just curious.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes me feel like someone is trying to sell you or rent you something. They want your business, and you're not even sure that you were looking for this. And if it's me, I'm sorry to oh, I'm sorry about that as well. um, if it were me, I would feel like someone is trying to rent me something in like not a very, you know, not good bones on this building, and it doesn't feel like a good idea. My projection.
Yeah, I feel like I need to, I want to meditate a little and kind of reflect.
Absolutely.
I think that there's something to that too.
And then also looking at it opposite, like, am I pushing something or not pushing, but encouraging something that's not going to work for someone else? And I'm only saying that because you like the Jungian way of looking at yourself in the characters of your dream.
Yeah. Um, the other thing that occurs to me is that maybe you know, I'm being encouraged to explore a different way of thinking about things, like this
Mm,
warehouse and how many creative ideas could come from, like I could have people live here with me. We could make it art studios, like there's
yes,
so I think that's been brewing in my, waking life.
I
Uh,
love that.
Even though I'm very happy in my little house here, but like, somehow like how to make a bigger space where I could share space with people and maybe make art studios where we're working together and, just kind of things like that. So maybe I'm being asked to look at some kind of an option or opportunity that is nothing that I would come up with on my own.
Oh, okay.
So like,
Okay. Oh, so
ew,
you don't know.
yeah. Like I like spaces that are clean around the edges,
Yes,
so not that, but it also had this incredible potential. It was huge and
yes.
high ceiling,
Ooh.
this kind of funky neon light outside, which was kind of
Oh,
cool.
that's right. I had a thought about that.
Oh yeah.
What was that in the dream? There was like a neon light. I kept thinking of Simon and Garfunkel, you know, when my eyes were by the dust of a neon light and stayed the night, or like the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls. So those two things came up
Ooh.
for me.
Hmm. Well, that's so interesting. I don't know what the neon said. My feeling was that it was just like the name of an old, like that building used to be an old department store, is what it
Like
felt
like
like.
in the 60s.
Like, or even before that, like
Uh-huh.
some kind of a department store, because it definitely felt like it was New York City.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but um, maybe the neon light, and it was lit, so maybe it felt a little bit like transformation, like this funky
Oh,
was kind of transformed into something kind of beautiful and charming and funky and pretty, like it had cool furnishings and things hanging,
Yes.
and the night is like there's still life. It's still life. Like it's something, I don't know, bringing, there's so many ways I could look at that. Bringing old something, bringing the thread of the old
It's
funky.
really exciting how you're looking at that building. Now
Yeah, there's
I'm like brimming with possibilities, you know,
yeah,
that
yeah, cool.
that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, I think
So,
that the,
yeah, so how can you honor this awesome dream?
gosh, there's so many elements to this.
Just start small, choose one.
Yeah, because the two parts of the dreams were so different, and I feel like they need different things.
Okay,
That
good.
um, um, I don't. I feel like almost like I want to draw or paint the symbols and the first part of the dream.
Yeah. What would you
Yeah,
draw or paint? Which,
sounds like I just feel like I want to, because we talked about it looking like
yeah,
symbols. I want to
yes, yes.
kind
Okay.
of,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah,
Yeah.
like as if I'm looking down at it, from a,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
like, like that might want to happen.
Yes. That feels good. What about the second dream or part two?
Um, I don't know. I feel like I want to go back in there somehow. Feel like I want to get back in.
Well, there's the answer of how you can honor this dream is like dream entry.
Yeah, yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Or just like
Beautiful.
meditation, but maybe more like a creative visualization, like just go in the dream and see, yeah, maybe do my own little dream reentry, see what's going
Okay.
to feel in that space, what's in it for me. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
You
Thank
feel they are complete?
you. Yeah, I think there's lots to look at there. But yeah, definitely
So
feel
this dream was weird. Oh, you don't say. Okay. There's something I'm in like a what feels like let me think what it feels like. It feels like a place in New York City. It's not Washington Square Park, but it's like a paved place. Can't think of the area, but it might come to me or you might think of it. And there's two mimes and they're doing this whole miming show with each other. And for some reason, I feel like I want to communicate with them. So I start like trying to communicate through my hands. And at first I can't, and I'm feeling like, well, I don't have the training. They can't understand me. I'm not sure if they're understanding. Then I think, oh, they do understand. And it seems we have a conversation. So I'm memeing to them. I worry they're not understanding me. And then I realize actually it seems they are understanding and we have a conversation just wordless, just with our hands.
Hmm. How does that feel?
One of the things with the MS is that I'm not very dexterous in my right hand. And I have gone from being dominantly a righty to being a lefty, even with writing and, cutting anything. Um, but it feels, and I used to think because I was interested in sign language for a while. But then when I got the diagnosis of MS as a 26-year-old, I kind of put that aside. And, I wouldn't really be able to sign because my hand isn't always, this is pretty good actually, but it's not always dexterous. So that felt good in the dream that I was able to sign and I was able to use my right hand as well as my left.
And Did do you know who these people were? Did they seem familiar somehow to you?
Total like French mimes,
Uh-huh.
just French mimes in every way.
Do you have
And
any kind of thing about that, like where
oh,
that?
like almost curly hair, like almost look like gondoliers. That's I guess that's Italy and not France, but um as an American kind of combines in my mind. And um yeah, like just nice dark curly hair and white painted face, with the red lips, you
Uh-huh.
know, and oh they just look great. They had on like striped pantaloons with like knee socks kind of thing,
Does it does
beret.
that remind you of anything, or like?
That part of the city reminds me of something,
Hmm.
and not the people, not the guys. I don't think I mean, I probably have seen them, and maybe even in that part of the city, but for some reason they're calling me to that part of the city, or myself is calling me through, through them to that part of the city. I just can't think. It's not Lincoln Park. No, it's
Chelsea?
Chelsea.
Chelsea? I'm just thinking of different
I don't
neighborhoods.
think it's Chelsea. It's almost like a big square. It's not paved though. It's like concrete
Tompkins,
blocks. Say again.
Tompkins Square Park.
I think it is Tompkins Square Park actually. Yeah, I think that's where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Maybe I'll look and see on a map what's around there.
Yeah. Is that a place that you spent time when you did you ever live in the city?
I never did.
I mean, what I
Uh,
know about Tompkins Square Park, it was definitely like a hippie hangout for sure.
okay. Hmm.
Probably a lot of drugs, but I wasn't kind of into that at the time. So
Yeah.
that, but yeah, a lot of people hung out, played music, and definitely a little bit degenerate. It had a little bit of that feeling,
Yes.
but like, it makes sense that that type of thing would be there, like some kind of performers.
Yes.
Uh, but I think what's interesting in the way you just described it is that something called you to that spot, like those people, the mimes, somehow called you.
It feels like that.
Yeah, and that's curious. Like they had something to show you, and
Yes.
maybe what they're showing you is what, that something that you can communicate differently, that
Hmm.
that you can be understood even when you're not communicating like verbally.
Oh. Or something about body language, maybe.
Yeah, just different, like,
The memes
how
don't
can I
really
keep
have, it's not really body language though with the memes. It's really, well, it could be also improv, you know, that could be something meme,
meme
right?
a mime?
Say
Mime?
again.
Mime? You talking about a
Oh,
mime?
did I say meme? Yeah, mime.
Maybe
Mime's
the French word for it, but I don't really know.
Freudian. That's a Freudian. So, meme. I don't really have anything to say about memes either.
Well, that's interesting because memes are symbols in a way, right? Or it's not
Right?
really a symbol, it's kind of like a collective word or phrase that people are saying.
Yes.
I think that's what a
Oh,
meme is,
yeah. Oh,
right? It's like all of a sudden there's a meme of whatever it is, a word, I think, or a
yeah.
picture. Sure. Um,
That feels really familiar.
it's like symbolic also, kind of. It's like also not verbal communication.
Yeah,
It's in a different way.
that's true.
So that's interesting. That was an interesting Freudian slip.
But so, yeah, I would like to I have two jobs, and as our one of our teachers, Robert Moss, says, dreams give us homework. And so
Mhm.
my homework from the stream is I need to see what businesses are around Tompkins Square Park, and and I need to see like why does this meme thing feel really familiar? I'm not sure, but I want to see if I scroll around on the computer and if any meme strikes me, just to see what is being conveyed.
Yeah. A meme of a mime.
A meme of a you might be onto something.
Who knows how things come up. Um, and I guess I just, so did you say how you felt when you like had that dream feel to you? Like, how did you feel in the dream and outside it when you woke up? I think I asked you that already.
In the dream, I don't believe so. In the dream, I felt like I really wanted to be able to communicate with them. And it wasn't an emergency. It was just like, well, I think this is what we say too. This is what we were talking about last podcast in learning Duolingo, in learning Spanish. That I think we
Mhm,
both came to the same idea that we want to be able to communicate with people more. And I felt like that.
mhm.
I felt like I wanted to be able to communicate with them. I don't know why, but that was the feeling.
You're just wanting to communicate with someone who communicates differently.
Yeah, I guess that is what it was. It was also almost like I have something to say and
Mhm.
I want you to understand what it is.
Yeah, that sounds really important, like an important piece to this.
Yeah, so what is it that I
Well, I
need
have
to say?
something to say maybe is, I guess I wonder, is there a place in your waking life where you feel um, like you're not being understood in the way that you are communicating?
Yes, with my 14-year-old.
That's what I was thinking.
oh,
I mean,
oh,
I
gosh. Shazam. I think you got it. Bolt of lightning.
Mhm.
Oh
Right.
my gosh.
I communicate like,
We communicate so differently. We are worlds away from each other, but I need him to understand
yeah.
that I'm not an idiot.
Right. Right. I know. Right. Isn't that the stupid? 14-year-olds think that, oh my God, how stupid their parents are. Really, I love it.
I'm like,
Gotta
hey, your 26-year-old brother thinks I'm kind of cool. so don't be
I think so too.
don't be so 14.
Yeah.
No, it's a blessing. I love this age. I love it. I love it when they're coming into their own, but I get it that
Mm. But
that
maybe there is something about the communication there, that,
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
doing differently and maybe there is a way, because I do think we have to kind of, especially with teenagers who are, they're so trying to individuate, they're trying
Hmm.
way and they don't want your way. And so it's like,
Right.
how can I come across without like,
Yeah, yes. Well,
stressing.
here's what I did. No, I'm kidding because this is obviously not the thing to do, but he just turned 14. He just had a birthday. And I got him, we don't have a TV, but we have computer and internet. I got him a projector. And in front of me, which you cannot see because it's behind the computer, there's a big blank white wall. And I got him a projector that he could project movies onto the wall from the internet. But I'm not saying buy your kid, love at all. Not at all. It was just his birthday. So
Yeah,
that's why that, and just happens to be right now. So I was mostly kidding when I said that, but a little bit hopeful.
mostly kidding when you said what.
Oh, I bought so here's what I did. I bought him a projector.
Oh,
No, that's
okay,
not what I did. I was
right,
joking when I said that. I
right.
bought him that. But then I said, but I'm hoping. So whatever. Joke to self, like I don't advise it, but perhaps it will make things a little bit better.
I mean, I don't know what the truth is for you there, but it sounds like you did something, you bought him a gift that he would really appreciate.
that he would have wanted, right?
He
Yes.
wanted, and that's cool. I mean, and that is, in some ways, that's a communication.
Yeah, it
Let
is.
me see that you would really appreciate this.
Yeah.
I'm sort of pulling.
Similarly, that. I don't relate to the love language of gift giving,
Yes, me neither.
and but he might. So in a way, it is like a way to love my kid because he might appreciate
Well,
that.
and also, I think that if we take away the fact that you gave him the gift, it because it doesn't feel like the gift giving was, I'm going to give you this gift because I love you. That feels to me like you were giving him the gift of something very particular that he would appreciate, not about the
Right.
gift giving itself.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
It's like, wow, you really see me, and that, and I will so appreciate that. That's so cool that you thought of me, and that not that he would say that, but
No, but yeah. Oh, I like that so much. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. As ever, life has its challenges and we
it
can
does.
we can be we can be grateful. I'm trying to be, and I am so grateful. And I'm trying to stay in a positive mindset. I advise that because what's the alternative?
Well, I think that it's important for us to feel what we to feel our
Yes.
grief, to feel our sadness, to feel
Oh,
our
that was what the dream was.
rage. I really think it's important to feel that stuff, but
I
not get
agree.
there. Let it move through. Recognize that
Beautiful.
that that absolutely is human to feel that,
Yes.
and then how can we think differently, and how can we feel a little bit more positive about our grateful for what we have and our life experience. I'm
Yes.
not sold on silver lining. I know that you are, and I
Well,
respect it and appreciate it, but it just.
well, this is why we're so good together.
Yeah, well, I do. I think because
You're a realist and I'm a like
silver
I don't
lining.
I'm silver lining.
And we need that. We need people who have that, and
Yes,
we need people who have what I have. So, right,
absolutely.
it is important for me to also see, like, where is the silver lining in this? What is good about this?
Hmm.
What can come out of this? That's really what it is what gets created from our grief. The
Yes,
gift that gets created, is
that's
usually
right.
the aha, like something we recognize, some new way to experience the world, some new way to think about something. So that
Yes,
could be the silver.
absolutely. And I think that once we get there, then we can truly feel gratitude and not just give lip service to
Exactly.
gratitude, to
Right.
hopefulness or whatever,
Real
thankfulness.
possibility. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Alan, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And until
And
next.
until next time, and listeners, yet again, we encourage you to have a dream buddy because it helps through this convoluted path
Yeah. Yeah.
called
And
life.
dreams are such an absolutely fascinating way to look at your own psyche. Just it's
Yes,
very, very, really revealing and telling and creative, and yeah.
yes. So, listeners, we hope you have Holomod Metukin